Hello YouTube, it's Simon here with Hobby of the Man once again, and today we're going to be talking about the One Piece movies that I've watched so far. So I actually watched 5 movies. I watched episode Alabasta. I skipped the Drum Island one because it was not available in the English dub. Even though I could have looked it up elsewhere, I just decided not to. Then I watched Strong World, Z, Gold, and Stampede. So I've watched the 4 latest movies, discounting the CGI one because I was not interested in that movie. I didn't think it would be interesting. And today I'm only really going to talk about the 4 that are not a rehash of old stories. So I'm not going to cover Alabasta because there really isn't anything to it. It's just a compilation movie. It's a condensing and rehashing of Alabasta. It's not really redone. As far as I understand it, it was just grab all the chapters, cut it up into pieces, and put them together, or all the episodes, and put them together into one movie, which leads to some weird pacing issues. So it is what it is. Now, I'm going to talk about each of them. I'm going to talk about them kind of in general. I don't really have too much information about what went into the development of them. I don't really care. That's not the point of this video. It's mostly just to talk about something that's One Piece related, that is not just chapter reviews, not chapter reviews, arc reviews. At this point, I've read up to the beginning of Wano Part 2. So even though my reviews are only just at Zoe, as far as I remember right now, I already recorded Whole Cake Island. I'm about to record Reverie and Wano Part 1. I am currently on Wano Part 2. By the time this video comes out, I probably will be caught up to the current saga, or to the new saga that's about to start. So let's start with Strong World. I think the opening sequence of this was really weird. I didn't really like it. I didn't think it was interesting. The music that they chose was really odd. I didn't find it to be enjoyable. It was just a weird, like, chopped and screwed kind of thing, but with like weird techno vibes to it and like this radio filter. It was just not enjoyable. I think that the animation overdrive, go crazy, and make a cool fight scene at the end part of the story was great. I really like that. Generally, I think the animation of the story overall is really great. I really liked the outfits Nami was wearing across the whole movie. It was nice. I actually did like the introduction of Nami into the movie, but I didn't really like the music. I think every character was introduced in a fun way, in an interesting fashion. But I don't know. I didn't really love the music accompanying that, right? So yeah, in terms of the final battle outfits, apparently it seems to be a thing at the end of every movie. They dress up in a fun, fancy outfit to sell figures of. And I really like the ones in Strong World because they're kind of these like mafia boss with giant pirate gun kind of things. And I really like that. I thought it was really fun. I really enjoyed that. But the story itself was kind of middling. I didn't really have a strong opinion on it either way. It basically felt like a different version of Skypiea, or at least it had that kind of same idea. It was like the Sky Island, but it was not a naturally occurring one. It was one made by Shiki the Lion, who had the float fruit. I think Shiki actually ends up being a real person in the story of One Piece. He's not just a made-up character for the non-canon movies. But I don't remember him being mentioned at all. Maybe he was mentioned and I just didn't pay attention to it or not. I don't know. I'm not too sure. But the story itself was fine. I liked the little girl and her village. It was pretty cute. I like that they had little wings, which are different from the actual Skypeans, which are descendants of the Lemurians, if I remember correctly. I thought it was interesting, but I didn't really find it to be all that compelling. Like, okay, there's these naturally occurring like bird people that live on these floating islands that Shiki, took for himself. And he is modifying these animals, which are pretty interesting. I really like the Lightning Kairu character. He was just like Karu from Alabasta, but he was a lightning duck for some reason. I thought that was really fun. I really liked that character. And I like that him and Luffy were friends because Luffy doesn't get affected by his lightning. So I thought it was fun. I think it worked well. But like the setup of that was fine. But Shiki, I didn't really understand why he was trying to do what he was trying to do. So he wanted these things and he was going to release them on East Blue, but I didn't really understand what the fuck the point of it was. Like, why was he doing this? But there were some really good moments between Luffy and Nami throughout the movie. I don't know. There's just an interesting thing that in the manga, I don't really notice all that often when Luffy and Nami have moments together, at least not previous to Whole Cake Island. In Whole Cake Island, I feel like they had really big moments together. And of course, the Arlong Park moment is the biggest one they have. But there's just a lot of good like support between the two of them in this movie. I quite liked it. I thought it was good, but like everything but the plot line was great. And it kind of sucks because most of these movies should have a good plot line, because even though they're not canon, they still have to be worth the time. And I feel like without a good plot line, most movies aren't worth the time. So I did feel like I wasted my time a little bit with Strong World, but the packaging of the story was good. It was just the story itself was kind of lame. But it is what it is. I didn't hate it. I didn't like it. I would put it at like a 6 out of 10. I think it's okay. I might watch it again, but I wouldn't really go out of my way to do so. It would be like someone else is watching it and I sit down to watch it with them. But since neither one of my roommates is into One Piece, it's very unlikely that I will ever watch it again. And I would not buy this for myself if I found it somewhere to buy. I definitely would buy the other three, but not this one. So let's transition over to talking about Z. I think this one was probably my favorite, or my second favorite. I'm not too sure. I'll talk about all four of them, and then I'll kind of rank them. But for sure, Strong World is at the bottom. It's just deciding which one's number one and which one's number two. So yeah, Z. Best one, in my opinion, or second to best one. It was generally well animated. I like that. I think that the budgeting for the animation for movies is great. I think it works really well. The plot is pretty interesting. It's this guy who used to be a Marine who fell out of love with being a Marine because he realized that there was a lot of difficulty and that there was nothing going his way. And he loses his family twice. And so he goes out for revenge. And so in order to avenge his family, in order to get rid of pirates, he has decided that he has to be a pirate. But he actually establishes the Neo Marines, which are a pirate organization that is supposed to be taking over the Marines. And they have this goal to destroy the New World in order to get rid of all piracy. And the problem is that the way he wants to do it might actually be the cause for the apocalypse for the whole world, not just the New World, right? So it's pretty interesting. There's a big drawback to his plan, but it makes sense within the context of why the character wants to do it. He's basically someone that is done with life, and he wants to succeed at one mission at the end of the day. And he realizes that there's a lot of problems with it, right, at the end, but he is still a very strong, powerful force, and I quite like it. I think the introduction, the first part, the beginning of Z is awesome. I thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. I don't know why, but it was just such a cool action sequence to start with. And it introduces us to the bad guys. Z or Zed was really interesting. I didn't really care about the ninja guy that has the grow fruit, but the girl that has the time reduction fruit was cool. I can't remember what her fruit was named or what her name was, but I thought she was a cool character. I would like a figure of her, and maybe have her be part of the real story as well. I quite enjoyed her as a character. There was a lot of funny moments. I can't really remember any of them off the top of my head right now. It's been about almost 4 weeks since I watched this movie, but it's pretty good. I quite like them. I remember laughing quite a lot during this. The dub was good. I actually watched all of these in dub because I didn't really feel like reading subtitles the whole time. And there was an awesome battle at the end. I thought it was really well done. It was really good. Luffy kind of wins idealistically, morally, but he also just beats the guy, and he teaches Zed a lesson, and so Zed helps him escape, and it's really good. I really liked it. I thought it was really well done. Of course, the outfits were also really great. I quite liked them here too. The introduction was funny of the introduction of the Straw Hats was good. The beginning of the movie was also really interesting. And I think there were some interesting songs in the movie. I think Z is the one that ends with Avril Lavigne singing a Nickelback song, which is awesome. I thought that was cool. I really like Nickelback, even though everyone thinks they're a meme. I mean, I agree they are a meme, but they're still good. I quite like them. So, yeah, Z was a very enjoyable movie. I liked it a lot more than Strong World, and I would definitely rewatch it again. Actually, just thinking about it, I might go ahead and watch it tonight again while I eat dinner. So, I don't know. It's quite enjoyable. I liked it a lot. Now, Let's transition to Gold, which was visually amazing. It just looked really nice, like compared to Z and to Strong World. I don't know why. Maybe it's not that big of a difference, but to me, it felt really stunning visually. There was a lot of color, a lot of great animation. It just looked real nice, and I liked it a lot. The beginning was so colorful and fun. It was really interesting, and I liked that there was a very cool like premise. Like, let's just go to, you know, One Piece Las Vegas, right? And just have fun there. And then it turns out that there's this seedy like thing in the background that is kind of concerning, that is going to affect everyone pretty badly. And I thought it was really good. The premise was great. The character designs were awesome. My favorite character design was Baccarat. I thought she was great. I really liked her. I don't know if she was a long leg human. I think she was just really tall, but she was great. I liked her. Dark skin, reddish hair with a red dress. She looked really awesome. She was a great character for sure, at least in character design. I think Gil Tesoro also had a great character design, and Nami's old burglar partner was also a good design, but I didn't really find that Gil Tesoro's story was interesting. I feel like if he was a manga character, I would find it a lot more meaningful, but you know, it's because Oda is just a really good writer in terms of like getting you to hit on these characters and kind of empathize with them really well. And I think that Gil Tesoro's backstory to try to get you to sympathize with him happened too late into him being an evil guy. I also really liked the ending. I thought that it was cool that he became a Megazord of some kind, although that seems to be a theme. I think it's just because it's cool to battle giant bad guys, right? So, yeah. The backstory of Gil Tesoro would have been better presented earlier, and so he actually kind of ends up being pretty lame as a bad guy at the end of the day. But the final battle looked awesome. I really liked it. The OST was really also really cool, although it reminded me a lot of My Hero Academia for some reason. Just Gold specifically, the song where Luffy is battling Gil Tesoro in his like giant gold man form. Felt very My Hero Academia-esque to me. I don't know if the composer for this also worked on My Hero Academia. I doubt it, but it just felt very similar to me, so I don't know if I'm crazy or not. And the introduction of the characters was great. The outro, the ending of the movie was also great. There's some really cool stuff here as well because Kuzan shows up. It was interesting to see him after Punk Hazard and just having difficulties with his life. It was really interesting. So, yeah. And then probably the best movie, Stampede, was awesome. I liked it a lot. It was noticeable there was a celebration of One Piece. Although the plotline, I think, could have been made easier if they just made it a giant baby back fight, because we got that established early on as a way for pirates to compete without them having to kill each other. The Davy back fight would have been great, but the race is really not that different from the Davy back fight, so I guess it makes sense. But the plotline of this one is basically that this guy called Great Party or something like that, but like in Italian, Buona Festa, I think is his name, releases this guy called Something Bullet, who apparently was the strongest man alive until Goldie Roger showed up, beat the shit out of him, and then took him into his crew. And so this guy was someone that was really interested in being strong. He was curtailed enough by Goldie Roger, but then when Goldie Roger died, this guy went crazy because he had no one to battle anymore. And so Bonafesta releases him, and they plan this secret thing in order to create another Buster Call. And what they do is they create this party, this awesome gathering of pirates, which is supposed to be this race towards something that Goldie Roger made, and this treasure that he had. And it turns out it was a log post to Laugh Tale, which Luffy promptly destroys because there's no point in going to Laugh Tale if you didn't go by yourself, right? So, yeah, the introduction was pretty cool. I liked it. I really enjoyed seeing all of the other supernovas show up. Bonnie, Julie Bonnie. I liked her a lot. I think she was fun. Apparently, there's a figure for her coming out here soon, and I might just collect the few female characters that I like from One Piece. So far, I have 3 of them, or I have 1, and there's 2 on the way. So I might do that. I might buy her glitter and glamorous figure. Not too sure yet, but I liked her. I liked all of the other supernovas. Eustace Kid was awesome, very cool guy. And yeah, so it's a big race, and of course Luffy and crew have an advantage because Frankie is badass and he's really cool and really powerful and really interesting and smart, right? Then eventually they make it up. Bullet shows up, and Smoker and Tashigi are there because they have to be, and of course it's awesome. They're kind of figuring out what the heck's going on with this pirate party, and it turns out that there's an issue. Trafalgar Law shows up again, which is great. I like that a lot. And of course, Luffy has to have a big battle. Usopp almost dies, and Luffy, of course, has to do some awesome shit. And Boa shows up too. And there was a really funny scene where she's just running like crazy to get to Luffy, and I thought it was hilarious. It was really, really funny. And Luffy, Trafalgar Law, Boa, Smoker, and someone else, I can't remember. They all team up to beat this bad guy who ends up turning into this like giant evil man thing. And then he turns into a mecha, and then he turns into a bigger mecha, and then he turns into a gorilla. He looks like King Kong at the end. And of course, Luffy uses his Kong gun to beat him up, and it's great. I really liked Stampede, actually. It was definitely my favorite movie that I've watched so far. So that's it for my thoughts on each of these movies. It took about 3 to 4 minutes on each of them. And let's rank them now. So I think Stampede is number 1. Z is number 2, so Gold by a process of elimination ends at 3, and Strong World was garbage, so that one is last. Although it really wasn't garbage, it's just the worst one. Gold, Z, and Stampede I would watch again. I would love to buy Z and Stampede. I would be willing to buy Gold, but it's not going to be a priority. If I see it somewhere, I might buy it. If I don't, I probably won't go out of my way to look for it, but I might go out of my way to look for Stampede because I thought it was a really fun movie. I really enjoyed it. So, yeah, I'm a big One Piece stan now. I love it. I really enjoyed my time watching these movies, and I'm really excited to watch film Red. It's very unlikely that I'll go back and watch any of the older movies because my understanding of those is that they're in the old animation style, which I don't like, and I also don't feel like they're really all that necessary. None of these are really necessary either, but they at least look really nice and very comparable to the modern anime. And I think that's good enough for me. So I probably won't watch any of the old ones, but going forward, I will continue to watch the new One Piece movies for sure. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know what you thought. And thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.